When you realize that people's opinions are charged with their own personal history, you will start to understand that every judgment is a confession. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Interlinked podcast. I am your host, Ray, and I'm so glad that you're here. In today's episode, we're talking all about judgment. All right. So, whether you're very judgmental towards yourself or towards others, or you just feel like there's a lot of people in your life constantly judging you, this episode is for you. So, I love the quote that I started with because it's just so true and it really makes you take a step back and realize it's not always about you. Like, when people are judging you, it's way more about them than it will ever be about you. It's really cool and almost like chilling to think about every judgment being a confession because it just makes you take a step back and be like, wait, okay, what is this person judging somebody else about? And then you kind of are like, wait, let me psychoanalyze you. Like, what's going on with you that makes you feel like that needed to be said, you know? And whether that's like your friends or your family members, and you're like, you're really judgmental. Why is that? And when you listen to what they say and you start to think of it from a lens of like, these are the things that are actually hitting home for you. Like, let me give you an example. If somebody's constantly saying, like, oh my God, what are they wearing? What is she wearing? What's her hair? What's this? What's that? All about physical appearance. Now you can think back to that quote and be like, oh, so how's your perception of your own image? Like, how do you feel about yourself? Are you actually just insecure about how you look, so you feel the need to judge everybody else? There's this other quote that I saw that was, we mirror our internal dialogue through our external behavior. And this ties perfectly in as well because it's like, okay, if all you're spitting is negative, negative, negative talk about other people, what are you saying about yourself? Like, how are you in your own head? What do you think about yourself when you step out the house? Like, what are you thinking when you see yourself in the mirror? It just makes you realize that's deeply rooted insecurity. Because we are our harshest critics. So if you every morning are like, oh, I look ugly, I hate my outfit, I hate my body in this, all this, that, and the third, negative self talk, when you go out into the world, you're going to have that similar mindset because if you're constantly looking for your own flaws and pointing them out, either in your head or out loud, what are you doing with other people? You're probably thinking the same thing. If you think you look bad in a shirt and then you go out and you see somebody boldly wearing a shirt that you feel like, oh, I could never wear that, what is your first instinct? Oh, why are they wearing that? And you know what? That's a reflection of you. Why are they wearing a crop top when they're not a size zero? Like, bro, that's just a reflection of you thinking you can't wear a crop top because you're not a size zero. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of the times, I feel like people judge because they're almost mad. They're upset that somebody feels so confident or so bold to do something or wear something or say something that they themselves don't have the courage to do or wear or say. This comes out most often with appearance because it's the easiest thing to do. You see somebody and all you got to do is look at them, and instantly you have all of these things to judge them on. Oh, their jeans, their shirt, their hair, their shoes. And it's like, that's just the easiest route to set yourself up to be in a miserable existence because you don't know their story. They might be wearing that outfit because it's the only thing they can afford, or it's the only thing clean because their washer's broken and their family can't afford a new one. And I say those examples because I've been through that. Like, when I was in middle school, my dad lost his job and we were like down bad. We were struggling, we were on food stamps, like re-wearing socks and shit. Like, it was a rough time. And it just felt like every day that I stepped foot into school, I was facing like this entire panel of judges purely based on what I'm wearing, how I did my hair, all of those things where it's like, you don't know me. And if you do, you know what I'm going through. But the people that pass judgment, they would have no idea. Oh, why are you wearing those shoes? Like, oh, that's dirty, da da da. It's like, would you treat me that way if you knew what I was going through? No. But it's so easy to just look at somebody and be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to pass judgment. Oh, that doesn't look good. This doesn't look good. And I'm not saying that I never judge because, of course, in your head, you're going to have these thoughts that pop in. But it's important to check yourself because you cannot just go around judging people without understanding them first. There's another quote that I like that goes, those who judge will never understand, and those who understand will never judge. So I like this because judgment, once again, is a lack of understanding. It's so simple to judge based on what you see. But I can almost guarantee if you have a conversation with that person, you would start to feel bad that you ever judged them. And I'm not saying everybody has some like sob story as to why they're doing something or why they're wearing something or whatever. But at the end of the day, we're all human. And when you start to realize that and know that we're all walking different paths, we all have different histories, we all have different backgrounds, and we're all a lot more alike than you think. So if you have a conversation, you'll find things where it's like, "Oh, I relate to you. Oh, I understand you. I can see where this style comes from, or I can see where these actions come from because now I know a little bit about you." But like if you don't even try to know them and you just judge them, that's such a shallow approach. And once again, I say we're all very alike, but we're also all very different. And it's exhausting to try to be like everybody else. I feel like I've covered fitting in boxes a million times, but that's just something I feel so strongly about. We try to put everything in a box. We try to put people in a box and categorize them just to understand them better. But it's again not based on knowing them. It's based on, oh, you're wearing this outfit. That must mean you're this type of person. Or, oh, you did this thing. You're lazy. Oh, you did this. Now you're a bad person. Oh, you did this. Now you're a dumb person. And it's like, how silly is it to base an entire identity off of one action or one situation or one outfit? Like, what? We're literally all just humans, okay? We make mistakes, we fuck up, we have situations that make us do things that maybe we wouldn't normally do, but that's what happens. And you know damn well you go through shit where it's like, okay, that wasn't the best representation of my character, or oh, this situation really fucked me up, but I learned from it, okay? I learned. We're all just learning. I'm going to read something else for you. Some people are quick to judge struggles they've never endured, choices they've never been forced to make, and burdens they've never carried. It's easy to have opinions when you've only observed from the sidelines, convinced you'd navigate things differently. It's easy to assume strength when you've never felt the weight of survival. But life has a way of humbling even the loudest voices, and one day they may find themselves in the very position they once misunderstood. It's so easy to say, oh, if this happened to me, I wouldn't do that. Or, oh, I wouldn't wear that. Or, I wouldn't put up with that. Until you find yourself in the same situation. And then it's like, oh, wow, I understand why this person couldn't get out of that relationship. Or, I understand why they kept going back. Or, I understand why they had to make this big change. Or, do this, that, and the third. Because it's not going to become clear to you until you walk in those shoes. And then when you do find yourself there, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. And that's where empathy comes in because that's honestly what a lot of people are missing. That's what a lot of the world is missing is empathy. And it can be hard to have empathy if you haven't experienced the situation, but there's room for holding grace and holding space for that knowledge gap. Because, like the quote said, life is going to come around and humble you. So be careful about what you pass judgment on because it might just come around and end up being your situation. And now it's like, oh, let's see what you do with that. Like, how dare you judge somebody for the way that they chose to handle a situation when that was all they knew? And especially when other things are involved, other people are at play. Like with the relationship piece, it's like, oh, why is she going back to her ex so many times? Da 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 da. Well, I can understand that because I've been in a situation where I should have left too. And it takes a while to get to that point where you build up the strength and you build up the courage to know your worth and know what you deserve and know when behavior and treatment is no longer acceptable. Maybe it was never acceptable, but you didn't have the capacity or the strength to see that worth in yourself. And that's where I say it's a direct reflection of you because half the time when, you're stuck in this toxic relationship and you can't get out, it's mirroring you. So if you have low self-worth and then you're with somebody that confirms that belief, you're going to stay. You're going to stay until you realize your worth because they're confirming it for you. And I've also talked about this before. Your brain always wants to confirm what you tell it. So if you tell yourself every morning, or just you have those passing thoughts of like, oh, I look ugly, I'm a piece of shit, or, you know, I don't deserve this bad things always happen to me. And then your relationship is kind of confirming that narrative. You're not leaving. Why would you? It's what you think you deserve. And until you feel like you do deserve something better, you're going to stay. Even if you came in with this strong, independent, high sense of self, sometimes relationships can break that down. They can. And I know that because I've experienced that. Like when you attach yourself to another person and they start to cloud your judgment and you attach a lot of your beliefs and your opinions to their beliefs and opinions, it can get a little muddy. And the person that you thought you were before is gone. Now it's just how this person sees me, how my partner sees me is how I see myself. And how do you want that image to look? How do you want to feel about yourself? If you're in a situation right now or a relationship that makes you feel shitty or makes you feel like you have a low sense of self, like they're constantly at judgment of you, you need to wake up because it's a mirror. It is a mirror. Okay. And I'm giving you tough love because I've been through it. So I'm saying it with empathy, with understanding. All right. That's the difference. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and be on a pedestal because that's the other thing. Our experiences are what allows us to have empathy, but it doesn't mean that we use our experiences to put ourselves at a higher level than others. Okay. That's just giving me the tools and the resources to understand you better. Like, if one of your friends is going through something and you're like, oh, I really just need them to wake up. I see you and I know that you need to wake up because I've been through it, but it's also like it's going to happen when it happens. I can't be the person that's going to make you wake up. I can give you a few pointers. I can remind you time and time again of your worth or whatever it may be. But ultimately, it's up to that person to come to that conclusion themselves. And sometimes it takes a long time, but eventually it will happen, or at least I would hope it would happen. So, having empathy is honestly the key to life because whether you've been through the situation yourself or not, you need to be able to hold space for people and know that maybe they don't have the tools yet. Maybe they don't have the self worth yet. Maybe they just don't know until that final thing happens and then they wake up. And it's like, finally, bro, like, where have you been? Missed this girl. And you watch their light slowly start to come back. And it's beautiful because you know, okay, you were in this low for maybe a while, but you got the strength and you bounced back. And sometimes it's a very frustrating experience. Like, I'm done giving you advice. If you can't realize your worth yourself, then, like, that's on you. And I've been there with people too, believe me. They've done it with me. So it's like, that's where life humbles you. It really does. Because even if you sit there and you're like, I don't understand why she's with him or why he's with her, I don't know how many times I have to tell her the same thing. Life might just come around and humble you. But the thing is, you having that example makes you stronger. And maybe they don't see that example themselves because they're in it. There's a very big blindness when you're in a relationship or it's been a long time, like you've been in that relationship for a fat minute. You kind of ignore things. You let things slide. You let them slide at the beginning and then they just keep on keeping on. Like that's the standard that you have moving forward. And it's like you're blind to it. But if they don't see those blindnesses, is that a word? I don't know. If they don't see them, they're not going to know. You know, like years down the line, they might be like, wow, I can't believe I really stuck with that person. But that was a learning experience for them and it taught them things and they had to grow through that. And that's just how life is. Anything you go through, anything that happens, any big life event, it forces you to do something. And how exhausting is it that you make this change or act on this thing based on your toolbox of life experiences or your toolbox of how to handle a situation, and then everybody judges you for it. And it's like, you don't know me. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know how long it took me to get here, or you don't know how much it took from me to be here. And I'm doing what I can in this moment to break free or to have an outlet or to just move on. And that's all people see. All they see is the event, they don't see the backstory, you know? And that's why judgment is so toxic, especially in the era of social media, because you genuinely have no idea what anyone is going through, yet all you see is the photo. All you see is the announcement. And we're human. We love to gossip. We love to keep tabs on other people's lives. And the problem with it is we keep tabs on people's lives that are no longer in our actual lives. Oh, you see this girl in high school is pregnant, and he's like, oh my God, did you see she was pregnant? And do you even talk to her though? Like, it's still shocking. I mean, every time I get on social media, somebody else is having a baby. I mean, I'm not even surprised at this point anymore. But it's like, is this a constructive conversation? Is this bringing me anything? Like, other than pure shock or pure amusement of like, oh, they're in this situation, they're moving here, they're doing this, they're getting engaged. It's like, what is that bringing you? And again, you know nothing about them. You know they're having a baby, but do you know the guy? Do you even know who they're with? Do you even know anything about their life? Like, how shitty would you feel if you're like, oh my God, I can't believe da 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 is pregnant. And then you come to find out that it was actually a sexual assault situation and they're keeping the baby, but they're choosing to raise it alone. And obviously, the guy's not going to be in the picture, but it's this like powerful woman moment. And obviously, they're not going to put that in the caption, but that's their story. And you have no idea. All you see is blank is pregnant. Wow, their life's going downhill. You know? Like, where's the guy at? Why didn't she post with the guy? And then you go stalking, like, oh, does she even have a man? Da da da. It's like, that's so toxic. It's so wrong. And any situation, I'm not saying like you need to think of the worst case scenario, but maybe it is the worst case scenario. And when we pass judgment, it's really shitty when you find out the truth and there you were sitting there judging. Like, I'll give you a very shallow example, okay? I was at work, right? I'm in the workroom, and one of my coworkers, she like heated up some food, okay? And it stunk. Like, we were all like, what the fuck is that smell? Like, the entire workroom just reeked. I was already stressed. I was having a rough day, and then I'm like, oh, what is that? Like, it was actually making me mad. And then we were joking though, like, I was like, my money's on salmon, da da da. And then the coworker who heated it up came back in the room, and I knew it was her because obviously I saw her put in the microwave. And I noticed that her energy was really low and down. And I was like, yo, are you good? Like, what's going on? And she told me, actually, I've been at the hospital for the past couple days. I really shouldn't be at work right now, but I'm dealing with like stomach issues, and I have to eat only certain foods. I can't have carbs. And I was like, bro, we were literally just sitting here shit talking on your salmon. You had salmon, right? And she goes, yeah. I was like, no, I wasn't trying to talk shit, but like, it really smelled strong, and I was having a rough day, but now I feel bad. And she was like, oh, you're good, yeah, and like on a really restrictive diet. And I was glad that I had said something and asked her how she was and kind of made it into a more lighthearted conversation. But again, I did feel shitty knowing that's what she's going through. And I'm sitting here like, oh, what the fuck did she just make? And it's like we pass judgment. Not that I'm judging you for eating salmon, but it's like, you get what I'm saying. We pass judgment, and then you find out the backstory, and it's like, oh. And that's just what I mean by not just judging before you actually take the time to understand. And then afterwards, we had like probably a 15-minute conversation all about diet and, you know, eating intuitively. And it was a great conversation. And it just really made me realize everybody is going through something, and you really have no idea until you just ask. And that's also why I just hate small talk, like small sidebar, but asking somebody, "Hey, how you doing today?" "Good, how are you?" I fucking hate that shit. I hate it so bad. I've made it a very big conscious challenge to myself to not say good, how are you? And I always say something different now. Like, it could be the smallest thing, but show your humanity, because the more that we can all escape from being these robots, the more that we will have empathy and the less judgment there will be in the world. Because when people are given the floor to speak, they will speak for the most part. Like, not everybody is an open book, but if you take that leap yourself first, if they ask you, how are you today? And you say something different, it's probably going to spawn a conversation where they're giving you a little bit more too. And then when you see them again, it's not like, hey, how are you? It's like, hey, how's your stomach feeling? Because now I know something more about you. Now I know something where I'm not going to want to judge you because I have that little piece of empathy. Not like, oh, everyone should just pity each other and walk around on eggshells, but it just brings back that sense of humanity, because we're all so quick to judge before understanding, like I said. And again, in this era of us having access to so many people on so many platforms and in so many formats, it's easy. It is so easy to just get on your computer, get on your iPad, get on your phone, and just sit there and judge. And the people that actually comment judgment, I don't understand that. Like, I literally will never understand how you can sit there and think, oh, yeah, this is a good thing to comment. Like, yeah, that makes sense for me to just sit here behind my screen and bring somebody else down. It's just so shitty to me. But ultimately, again, judgment is a representation of hatred, and typically it has nothing to do with the person. It has everything to do with hatred of the self. And if you find yourself being very judgmental, again, I really just want you to take a look inward and think about your own insecurities. Think about what you're projecting onto other people. Is it fear? Is it insecurity? Is it self-doubt? What are you battling? Because if someone is doing something or acting in a way that is actually stressing you out or hitting you so hard that you feel like you need to comment on it, it's probably for a reason. And I think this shows up a lot with parents. Like, they think just because, oh, this is my kid, I'm so responsible for what they do and what their career is and how they choose to live their life. But ultimately, do you even know why they're doing that? Do you even know anything about them? I feel like as we get older, when you're a kid, your parent has so much hold over you. They're in charge of signing you up for sports. They're in charge of taking you to the doctors. They're in charge of, making sure your homework's done or cooking you dinner. But then as you get older and you go to college and you move out, it's like they still want to have that hold over you, but they don't even know who you are anymore. It's like they want something to be proud of, which naturally as a parent, I get it, but also you're doing it for your own self-fulfillment. Like, you want to walk around and be able to tell your friends what your daughter or your son is doing. And if it doesn't feel like it's aligning with a vision of success that you have in your head, then I'm a failure. It's like, oh, if I'm not a doctor or a lawyer or this self-made businesswoman, then I don't look good to your friends, so it's not even worth mentioning. You know? And like that's just so shitty to feel the pressure of society, to feel the pressure of your peers doing things, but then also to feel the pressure of parents who don't even know who you are. Because again, if they actually took the time to understand, they would know you need this change. They would know you need this career path because it's something that you've always wanted to do, or it aligns with your personality. It doesn't align with the personality that they wish you had. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not the person that you want me to be, but this is who I am. And anyone that is just graduating or finding themselves in a position where you're not where you want to be, but you're afraid that if you do change the situation or go for that career or that degree, it's not going to align with what somebody in your life wants. I'm just here to tell you it's your life, it's your career, it's your future, it's your decision. Yes, maybe they're supporting you financially, and that's where it gets a little bit muddy because it's like, oh, if I don't do this thing, are they even going to pay for it? But honestly, it's worth the debt. It's worth finding a way if you can feel free. Because if you go off and do something that somebody else wants you to do, you're going to end up miserable. You should never, ever, ever live for anybody else but yourself. You should never allow somebody's judgment to steer you in a direction that you don't want to go because your intuition is your strongest guide. And if your intuition is telling you, I want this career, I want this job, I want to move states, I've always wanted to do this, you better listen to that voice. You better listen to it because it's just going to keep knocking. It will. It'll keep going and going and going, and you'll probably keep ignoring it. Or you could put your foot down and make that move. Make that change right now. Let them judge you. Other people's opinions are not your problem. No matter what you do, somebody's going to judge you. So why not do the thing that you want to do? Why not? Let them judge. Use that judgment or use those negative opinions to fuel you doing the thing that you're doing even harder. Go even harder, grind even harder, knowing this is for you, you're doing it for you, and you're proving to yourself that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks because you trust yourself and you know what's best for you. And if that vision isn't clear, like let's just say you did just graduate or you're on this path and you don't feel like it's the right one, but you don't know what is, and you don't have that voice, think about what's making you unhappy or think about what you would want, but also know that sometimes the things that you want most don't even end up bringing you the strongest form of happiness. Like, you could go into a career and think it's everything you ever wanted and be like, oh, I don't care. I don't care about the judgment. I'm going to just do it. And you go for it and you do it. And then you find out, wait, I'm actually not happy anymore. It's knowing that and doing something about it, not fearing the judgment of, oh, I'm a failure now. Oh, what is everyone going to think? That is where you get tied up. That's where it's like, oh, I thought I was good. I thought I knew what I was doing. And suddenly I don't. Like, what's going on? Again, don't let people convince you otherwise. If you don't feel like you're meant to be somewhere anymore, or you feel like something isn't right for you, or somebody isn't right for you, do something about it. When one door shuts, another one opens. So you never know, by doing one thing, by making one move, by making one change, what could happen, what could unfold for you. Use that as your motivation, not anybody else's opinions of what they think you should do, or who you are, or where you should go, or how they see your life, because that's not it. Their judgment is coming again from their experiences. And sometimes people are very close minded because they never made the leap themselves. They never took it upon themselves to make change when change was needed. So, by you having that courage or that bravery or that strength to do something that they could never do, you're threatening their identity. And that's again where a lot of judgment comes from. It's insecurity and it's internal turmoil. Like, they're struggling with some shit themselves. So the idea of you facing that issue head on is like, yo, that means that I should be facing my issue and I don't want to deal with that. So I'm just going to judge you, or I'm just going to make comments on your situation, because it's much easier to sit here from the sideline and have opinions on your life than it is to get in the driver's seat of my own life. Why do you think the most homophobic people are actually gay themselves? Wonder why. Wonder why they have so much to say about people being gay, and yet they're sitting there battling that internal issue themselves. Oh, that's gay, no homo, like, pause. And then, like, a few years later, you find out they're gay, and it's like, oh, okay, that read, like, that makes sense. I get it, I get it. So, this was all just like your battle, and you want to project it onto everybody else because you can't stand to look at yourself in the mirror and figure yourself out, or come to terms with your sexuality. So you got to make it everybody else's problem that they're bold enough to come out and say who they are. Got it. And it's hard. It is hard. I'm not saying it's not, but the issue is projecting that judgment. It's not a requirement to project homophobia just because you don't want to come to terms with it yourself. You could easily be gay and not want to admit it and just be neutral. You don't have to have this negative emotion towards it. But again, that comes out because people are so at war with themselves. So once again, we go back to the very beginning. Take people's judgments as confessions. Think about it that way. And I swear your eyes are going to open, because why else would somebody be so high strung and so hung up on a concept unless they were battling it themselves? And of course, we have the religious aspect that comes into play with that one. So, not a one size fits all. Maybe they're just hung up on the idea that God wouldn't want it. But who are you? Are you God? Are you the universe? Like, are you the all powerful, all knowing, higher power? Or are you just a human? Is every human at fault in certain ways? Is every human flawed? Is every human up for judgment because they themselves are not perfect? Yes. I don't care what you believe in, if you believe in anything, but those assignments of good versus evil and what's a sin versus what is not are definitely up for interpretation. And honestly, I've went back and forth with this whole religion thing, and I just feel like overwhelmingly, I do not want to place myself in any boxes. I don't want to be in a box for my sexuality. I don't want to be in a box for the way that I dress. I don't want to be in a box for a religion. I don't. I want to be boxless. I do not want to be categorized. I want to just be known as me. And in our society, it just feels like that is a crazy, insane concept. But I really don't care. I really don't. Like, I think you should take things for what they bring you. And going to church, I felt like I really aligned with the messages. You know, they would read a scripture and then they would explain it in terms that like would relate to our lives. And I would vibe with it. It kind of felt like a similar message I would get when I would go to yoga or when I would read, Joe Dispenza. It's all kind of tied together, but the thing that I don't like is the judgment piece. And I feel like with this concept of Christianity, or honestly any organized religion, there's always going to be judgment because you're ultimately following a rule book. You're constantly at judgment by this community of people who understand that we're all human. Like, I'm not saying they don't get that, for sure. They for sure have empathy and, hold space. And, they always talk about you're in this season of your life and what this, that, and the third. But ultimately, if you do have a relationship with a higher power, I just think that's all it needs to be. Like, you don't have to assign yourself to something and then feel like you are at the hands of judgment anytime you fall or anytime you do something that doesn't align with that rule book, you know? And if you are religious, nothing against you. I feel like it's cool with this podcast because you guys can literally see how I experiment with life. Like, I feel like I've gone through a million phases already just on this podcast alone. Like, I remember the one of the first episodes I was talking about wanting to go back to church because, my mom passed away and she was really religious and I thought it would make me feel closer to her, which it definitely did. And I I don't know. I don't know where I'm at with this whole thing, but I thought I would just throw this in there just because I struggle. I really do struggle with these boxes and being categorized and feeling like, oh, if I post that I'm going to church, then people expect this thing of me. Then I'm held to this judgment. And maybe that's my own, perception of how I think people are acting or just being perceived. The idea of being perceived is like always something that I struggle with. But again, I just like to play with life. I like to give myself the opportunity to try things out and take things for what they are. And if I'm not vibing, if I don't like something, I can just move on. I can try something else out. I can give myself the space to find myself, to find what I like, to find my passions. And what's wrong with that? There shouldn't be anything wrong with that. People's judgment is not your problem. I recently listened to one of Emma Chamberlain's podcast episodes, and she was talking about the permanence of the internet and why it's such an issue. And I thought this tied really well into judgment because she talked about how her, especially, being somebody who has a ton of followers and grew up online, she's constantly at the hands of people that have been judging her since she was a young girl, like a teenager finding themselves, and she gets constantly reminded of this past version. And we all kind of do in a way. It's not at that scale, but like I even think about I was talking to this guy once and he literally went on my Instagram while I was sitting next to him and was like, "Wow, you just been through all the phases, haven't you?" And I was like, what? And he was like, well, you look emo here, you look this here, and was literally judging me right to my face. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm sorry, that picture is from 2016. What? I was 16 years old, you know? And it's like, I even will look back at my shit because it's ultimately there for everybody to observe. Like somebody that follows you and sees old pictures, yeah, that was me. Do I dress like that anymore? Do I have that style? Do I talk to those people? No. Is that okay? Like, is that allowed? Or do we just all have to like delete everything so that people can't judge us? But at that point, you would just be deleting. Everything would have to be relevant and recent for you to not be judged on past versions of yourself. And why is that not looked at as like, oh, you were this before? Like, it's cool to see how you have evolved or how your style has changed because we all change. It's impossible to think, oh, somebody was looking fly ever since they were 12. Like, maybe you had a cool stage or whatever, but like, the odds of you having the same style or the same image or doing the same things from the moment you pop out to the moment that you feel developed in your identity is like nearly impossible. It's nearly impossible. And I just think we need to judge less. Like, look at it from a place of understanding if you can. Once again, that comes with empathy, that comes with lived experiences, but why are we so judgmental? Like, why are we looking at it like, you're a poser, you never really like to do that? What? I'm sorry, but can I not evolve? Can I not try new things? I'm confused. And it is scary because it's like you do something one day, you could be canceled the next. Like, our cancel culture is fucking insane. It's literally fucking insane. But again, it all comes down to the need to judge and the need to categorize people because everybody wants so badly for somebody to have something wrong with them or have something that they can point out. Like, life is always such a gotcha moment. Why does it have to be like that? Why can we not all just support each other and allow mistakes to happen? Obviously, shit shouldn't just be left to fly. Like, there are certain things, understandably, that should be held accountable for and should be put on blast. Like, totally stand by that. But when it's those minor things or things that, like, it was an honest mistake or it was an honest just growing experience, that's where it's like y'all need to really find something to do because you're giving, I'm bored with my life, I'm unhappy with my life, so let's make everybody else miserable about theirs. How does that make sense? How does that make you feel good? That I will never support. Do not ever bring people down on the premise of you just feeling like you don't have anything going for you. That shit, absolutely not. If you're someone like that, I really need you to look inward. I really need you to take the time to figure out what in your life is making you miserable, what in your life is instilling that hatred that you're projecting onto other people. That's what I need to figure out. I need you to figure that out because this life is already hard enough. It's already hard enough to walk through and try to figure things out and try to make it better and try to work through experiences without the judgment of other people. Add that in, yeah, it's tanked. It's exhausting. So be a better person. Be a better person to yourself. Be kinder to yourself. When you're kinder to yourself, again, that mirror, it's going to reflect kindness. So people are going to be kinder back. If you walk around thinking, I hate people, everybody's shitty, everybody is this, that, and the third, you are literally putting a storm cloud above your head, and everywhere that you walk, it's going to rain, it's going to thunder, it's going to be shitty weather, shitty experiences. You're stepping in puddles, everything is going wrong. As soon as you start acting on the vibration of gratitude, on the vibration of positivity, you'll watch life get a lot sweeter. You'll watch that cloud turn into sunshine, as corny as it sounds. Your light reflects the light in other people. It sees the light in other people. If you are projecting darkness, darkness is projecting back at you. Okay? So walk with light, walk in the light. When you have conversations with people, try to understand them before you judge them. Take a pause, take a moment, walk away if you need to. Collect your thoughts before you project your own insecurities and your own unhappiness onto them. You have no idea what one positive comment or one positive piece of advice or one nudge of approval will do for somebody. Their whole life, somebody could be in their ear, in the back of their head, bringing them down, whether that's a parent, a loved one, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whatever it may be. And you supporting them could literally be the reason that they change it all. It could be the reason that they decide to quit their job, or they decide to move away, or they decide to get out of this toxic relationship, or whatever they need to do to elevate. You could be the reason. Wouldn't you rather be the reason they elevate than the reason that they beat themselves up even more than they maybe already do? Think about that. All right, y'all. Well, I'm going to end it here, but I really feel passionately about this topic of judgment, and I hope that it was helpful or eye-opening or it resonated with you as always. Those are my wishes. But yeah, just be more accepting, be more empathetic, be more understanding. Take the time, be a light in somebody's life. Give a compliment to a stranger. Instead of thinking negatively about every situation or about every person, start to see things in a positive way. If you, let's just say you see somebody and you immediately think something negative, try to find one positive thing, okay? This is going to reroute your brain to get you to see positive in the darkness. Because if you can look at somebody and let's just say you're like, what is she wearing? Like, hate her outfit. Okay, what do you like? Oh, wait, I actually love her curls though. Like, her hair looks so good. Okay, boom. So instead of thinking about her outfit, now you're thinking about a positive thing. And maybe take it a step further. Maybe go tell her you like her hair. Okay? You're really going to see how you doing this actually impacts your sense of self too and makes you feel better about the way that you judge yourself. Instead of looking at yourself in the mirror and thinking, oh, I hate my outfit today, maybe you could be like, oh, but my hair looks bomb. That is a huge shift. That is something that will take you so far in your own healing than you even realize. Because once again, when you judge other people, it is a mirror of yourself. It is a mirror of your insecurities. It's a mirror of your confessions. Something you're burying deep, deep down is coming out when you choose to judge somebody. So judge less and understand more. And once again, do not let other people's opinions of you rule your world. Don't let them dictate what you do, how you dress, who you get with, what you do with your life. Don't ever. They're not you. At the end of the day, your family members, they're with you for a long time, but they're not with you for the whole time. They're not walking directly in your shoes, so don't put them in them. Don't even worry about it. If they don't want to take the time to understand you, then let them judge you. Let them be surprised when you go even harder and you show them it didn't matter. It didn't matter your opinion of me or what you thought I could be. It actually didn't matter because I went for what I wanted anyway, and look at how good I'm doing regardless. Remember, we are all interlinked. We're all living this human experience. We're all fucking up. We're all making mistakes. We're all learning. We're all growing. We're all doing the best that we can with what we know at the time. Okay? So let's be more empathetic. Let's be more understanding. Let's be kinder. If any of you are struggling with something and you need help, you need somebody who is going to listen to you and not judge you, come to me. I got you. I will listen. I will hear you out. I'll use my little toolbox of experiences and the information and the wisdom that I have to kind of walk you through what I think might be good for you. And if anything, I'll just listen. So if you don't have somebody in your life that can do that for you, let me be that person. I would love to help out as always. So thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye.